funny. Like, Tom jumping in and hanging out, and then Nick Storm jumping in and hanging out, and us just freaking talking like well after the hanging out with Tom and doing his festivities that he was a part of.
Right.
Those are also fun as well.
That's RAWDOWN Uncensored. So.
Yeah, RAWDOWN Uncensored. We'll talk about that when we do the Dark Side episode.
Yep. We'll let him have his little moment there. And we can talk about our drops. Maybe we'll play some of our favorite drops as we go along too.
Oh yeah,
I think we're kind of known for that. It's been kind of part of the the fabric of this show is all the fun drops that we come up with and try to make it fun. But
he's back.
Are we back?
We're back. We're back. We're back in the new old location.
We're back. That's all that matters.
Well, I think it's time we talk about some WWE, right? So quit flapping our gums. So let's head outside the ropes.
Outside the ropes.
Just one thing I wanted to note that we didn't talk about in the RAWDOWN recap was the fact that I was the longest reigning RAWDOWN champion of all time.
Cool.
I thought that was pretty neat that we didn't address that, so I figured I would.
That's a good reason, actually. No one cares.
Yeah, true.
I care. That's
good. You did a good job. Was it SummerSlam to Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
A good half a year.
Good job.
You're welcome.
How do we let that happen?
I don't know.
You're just bad. I don't know.
No, we'll let the cat out of the bag. We just let you.
We just let you.
Oh
we let you win every.
I could have cashed in that Money in the Bank whenever I wanted to.
Hey, but guess what? You didn't. Should have come through, bud.
I'm also the shortest reign.
That is true.
Whole 2 days. I'm like Andre the Giant whenever he or Rey Mysterio. That's a better one.
That's better.
We also don't forget. We also introduced the Money in the Bank only RAWDOWN thing. What is it, like RAWDOWN in the bank? Essentially, if you you come in second place, you get the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you can cash it whenever. Which that can't happen because I own both right now. I own both the Money in the Bank as well as the championship, so I am safe.
Next week, your title will be on the line.
Yeah, I know.
We'll talk more about that, of course, next week. And
yeah, so I'm in my safe house right now. I have no dangers coming from any side.
Oh, we might have a run in here soon.
Oh boy,
stay tuned. We're going outside the ropes, and you know what? I didn't play it last week, but I'm going to play it this week.
You're fired.
You're fired. I'm sorry. You're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. I suppose you're fired. How the hell are you going to get fired on your day off? Yeah! Fired.
Wow.
So
yeah, wait before we go. Before you do that, Anthony. So last week when we were doing the releases, we opted out of using that because obviously it wasn't the best time to do it. We were trying to be serious, but this time around, we had to use it for this particular person. So please proceed, J-Bone.
So we went through all the lists, and then Friday, of course, this person announced on his Instagram, I believe, Matt Riddle, he gone. And look, I'll kind of start off with everybody's thoughts, but we didn't want to use it last week because, look, I mean, it's tough being there, but this guy has burnt every bridge in the book, and just kind of consistent. I think this was more a cry for help, to be honest with you. And I kind of actually said it last week, because we were surprised he didn't get released on Thursday, but I think he did. And because we didn't really talk about how how they did these releases, right? They didn't have like a press thing or a future endeavor thing, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
I think he opted to do it on Friday so that he's separated from the pack.
Okay.
You know, that's
can
my
see that.
personal feeling, because it just doesn't make sense. Why would they have all these releases on Thursday and then just have one on Friday? Who's
Yeah.
probably, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, besides maybe Dolph was probably the biggest name out of the bunch.
Mhm.
You know, what do we see next for Riddle? I mean, I don't know. I mean, first of all, he posted a really strange video too this week, like of him like in the jungle with his girlfriend, pregnant girlfriend, who's like in a string bikini, and they're like posing for pictures, like they're doing like a photo shoot, and he's like choking her. It's really wild, really, really wild. So, what do we see next for Riddle?
OnlyFans.
I
I'm
laugh.
not even joking.
It's true though.
I think that's happening. I think that's what that's about. That whole video is he's announced he's going to be on OnlyFans or something.
Yeah, I think you're onto that. Something. I mean, do we see him in any other promotion? Is he just like?
No, I don't think so. I mean, someone mentioned the idea that Riddle could go to AEW. I mean, every free agent could go to AEW. I really just don't see it, especially since we just got out of a whole spiel of CM Punk with this all out stuff, all in, all out. Why would Tony Khan take on another headache? You know what I mean? Like, from what we've seen of Riddle, it doesn't feel like he would be a reliable name to be like, yes, Riddle is a big name, you know, and he's been a notable name in WWE for years now. But at the same time, is it worth taking on that extra baggage of, well, you know that he's had many problems in the past. What's the purpose? You just got out of a really bad situation for the company, for AEW. Now it seems that your locker room is all practically on the same page. Why would you bring in him to risk the divide again? So, and then of course, you know, you throw in names like Impact, or I even saw maybe he could go to New Japan. I just don't see it. If there's a shot that he goes anywhere else, it would probably be the New Japan USA company that they have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the New Japan Strong and everything. But in turn, that leads to AEW working with New Japan Strong, which would lead to AEW working with Riddle. So I don't know if that's to say that he even decides to come back in the first place. He could very well just move along. You know, I mean, he's not going back to UFC. I can promise you that.
No, that's not happening.
What was Jake Hager a part of?
Bellator.
Maybe he could go there.
Bellator. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I don't see him coming back to wrestling.
So that's gonna be hard to, like, you know, do, you know, work fighting, you know, for so long, and then have to train for a shoot fight. I mean, that's gonna take quite a long time to get back into. I mean, he does work out, but I mean, working out just like, hey, let me keep my body up, let me get my cardio, let me get my in-ring cardio up, and then working out to take on a fight are two different things.
Yep.
You know, whether or not he consistently like in a MMA gym or whatever, still, like, you know, way two different things. But man, I think this has to be one of the biggest fall from graces, you know, I think in WWE history. I mean, can we think of anybody that had so much upside to just be released like this? I mean, you know, of course, you know, there was Bray for a while, you know, but he made his return back. But I don't know necessarily. It wasn't like it was his doing, you know, necessarily. It was more booking. But was there anybody that had so much upside that caused them to be released like this? Anybody we could think of? Probably Randy Orton was probably close at one point.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, how ironic, Orton and Riddle.
Yeah.
But
They got a long story.
yeah. I don't think so. But you talk about someone who fell from grace. Like, this was someone who was destined for a really big Orton and Riddle feud. We will never see the end of that feud. You know,
Nope.
we Ace was the one who was saying, I remember when, you know, he was facing Roman on SmackDown, the SmackDown after Vince left, and you know, he was the one saying he should have gotten the title at that point. He was that hot that he should have gotten the title. I didn't agree. I don't remember if I agreed, honestly, but in hindsight, I don't agree. But you know, that's how big he was. Like, even just last year. But you know, 2021, 2022, when he made his debut on SmackDown facing Styles for the IC title. And
I was raving about that
okay,
match.
bro. Like, you know, it sucks to see that such a high profile person is now where we are right now. And there's no real line for his future. I mean, you look at guys like Dolph and Shelton, and these are all guys who have kind of a clear path on where they're going next, or at least a path in wrestling. Riddle, you don't know where he's going next. I mean, we just threw out Bellator and OnlyFans, and those are the like, I don't know what happens from here.
I could
but
definitely
don't
see him doing some shots for GCW.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, not for anytime soon, but like,
I can see Impact.
give it like a
well.
year or so. Yeah, I can see Impact.
And it's not even. It's not that he wasn't good or anything like that. Obviously, you know, he was over. Everyone loves him.
Shout out to Circle Debate.
He had definitely had the fans, you know, with him and stuff like that. It was more him that caused this. It was, you know, obviously, you know, you've seen the public things that happen, like the issues, you know, with like marital issues, and then his personal issues and things like that were, you know, unfolded in real time. So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything against his ability or, you know, the way, you know, he performed in the ring. He wasn't hurting people. He wasn't doing anything bad. It was just more, he was just more self-sabotaging. If anything, the Goldberg thing probably didn't help out as much when he first hit the main roster.
I mean, I think regardless, he was trying to get the match, and he was trying to.
Well, no, I get it, but yeah,
over a little bit, but yeah,
it's bridge burning. You're rubbing the like you're a new guy entering the main roster. The first thing you do shouldn't be to call out a legend, and you know you're not even established yet.
Legend.
I mean, it's not jail. You're not going out and picking up the biggest guy and trying to fight him and, you know, stake a claim. It's wrestling. It's professional wrestling.
You can't blame the booking on Riddle for this.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like exactly not.
No,
definitely.
I'm saying, like, in general, you can't at all. Just the fact that he got, as much as we shit on it at the time, everything with the scooter and the, you know, the entrance and, you know, everything. He was one of the highest used guys on the roster, especially. This was even before everything with Orton really took off. Once they put him with Orton, it was even more so. But I mean, they put all that they could into him. And, you know, you look at like last year when Triple H comes in, the booking was nowhere near where it was for him, of course, but he was still like in those Seth Rollins, you know, that high profile feud with him and everything that came of that. So many opportunities for him, and it just didn't pan out on his end, and it sucks, but that's what happened. And it sucks that they wasted so much time on him to build him up, make him a contender in multiple divisions, and I mean, here we are now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. But I mean, that like WWE is obviously sitting in a great spot. I mean, their roster is arguably one of the strongest of all time. I'm saying that even with going back to Hogan era, to Austin era, to, you know, CENA era, you know, whatever you want to say, you know, it's pretty damn hot right now. So I mean, they're definitely not going to suffer from it. They're probably going to be better off because he's a PR nightmare. You know,
Yeah.
especially with this last thing was so weird, so weird. I just
Video, you mean, that he posted?
well,
Oh, yeah.
no, the video is weird, but I mean that was after. But like the whole JFK airport, you know.
Oh
sexual assault,
yeah, and yeah, we talked about that last
so
week.
strange. I don't.
Well, it wasn't strange because we found out like what actually happened with the
Yeah.
issue
But I mean,
was.
like, why would he do that? Like, it's just like
gain sympathy.
I think he's just a call for help. I think he was just trying to get fired. To be honest with you,
Mm.
you know, I don't think I like to the feeling I get, especially from his like message, was like, "Yep, got fired. That sucks. Not really, but all right. You know, gonna do porn later."
Well, because he probably knew it was coming at some point. Like he, you know, when you found out about the you know, the airport security thing, and you know, him technically being under the influence, essentially. Like we just initially, like you said, we talked about this last week. We seen the post from him, and that was it. It was like, oh man, he's getting harassed. It's awful. But then when we talked on the show, like we heard the rest of the news that came out later in the day, and we were like, you gotta wait. There's your side, my side, and then the truth. So you always gotta wait for the other side. You can't just take his side on anything. You gotta wait for the whole story to come out. But yeah, it just sucks because he was like over, dude. He was like, if he wasn't gonna get the like push like now, at some point they were gonna put him in a position. I still believe that if he wasn't gonna go down that path, he's still definitely that talent that they could put in like a main event spot. But
once the Gunther stuff happened and I was just like completely over it, I was like, yeah, that's it for him. Like a match with Gunther and Riddle was it feels like something that you should be really excited for.
Yeah.
But once he came back from, you know, everything that happened, just this most recent run, it was just
and like you could even tell, like
came
the
back
kind of writing was wall,
Mania, no?
right? Yeah, I was going to say the writing was on the wall. Like then, like he did come back for like a huge pop. It was like, oh yeah, that's right, you were going.
What I think hurt him,
and that's because of the roster too. The roster's so strong. I mean, even from that time span between probably from the last SummerSlam to WrestleMania, the roster grew like exponentially. Like Lord, you know, like as far as like star power, it's really amazing to watch. And you know, so I kind of liken it a little bit to like 97, 98 WWF in that regard. But yeah, like my thing is like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, you're cool, whatever. But anyway, what were you gonna say, Mark?
I think what really hurt him too was I think everyone in the back of their minds, I think as fans, were waiting for that, you know, reunion to happen between him and Randy Orton. That's what I think. I think it was kind of like it seemed like it was almost like a holding pattern. Like, all right, you know, Orton's gonna come back. They're gonna, you know, pick up where they left off, or he's gonna obviously have that feud that we've been waiting for between him and, you know, Randy Orton. But I think that kind of killed it as well. It was like he's kind of floundering in that sense. Like once Randy's gone, like now what do you do? And now he has to establish himself as a solo act again. And then it was probably kind of hard for them to, you know, get a storyline going with him by himself when they probably had future plans for, you know, the run with him and Randy Orton. Obviously they lost the titles to the Usos, and then we didn't get to see what, you know, developed afterwards after that. So I'm assuming it would have been a feud between the two. That's where it's probably leading to, but we'll never know ever.
Oh well.
Let's talk about a little bit about. We've kind of talked about our good bit over the last couple of weeks. Rumors were true. Miss Cargill, former AEW superstar or wrestler, should I say? I don't know what they call them over there. Is now
wrestlers.
Yes.
Thermite.
Whatever they call them down in the Baja.
They call it thermite. You ever see thermite?
But Miss Jade Cargill is officially signed to WWE. Now, Becky kind of dropped some interesting stuff too. regarding the women's division this
Oh
week.
yeah.
She kind of torched the booking of the women's division, and
She's not wrong.
again, it's not wrong. It's not as bad as AEW.
I agree. Oh yeah.
But it's pretty bad nonetheless. But what's our overall thoughts on the presentation of how they introduced her being signed? And I'll start with Anthony. Anthony, what we haven't really heard from you on this situation.
Yeah. No, I thought there's two sides to the coin. The positive side of this is, I mean, when was the last time that for a women's wrestler to be presented at this magnitude? I mean, ESPN breaking the news that she was signed, videos of her arriving to the performance center, photos of her training, interviews on ESPN. I mean, you can't even really say that they did all of that for Ronda Rousey. I mean,
right.
They hyped her up, yes, but like they hyped her up when she was already there. Like,
right.
This is before Jade even enters the ring on Raw or SmackDown or NXT, wherever she goes. This is pretty big, especially for, and I've said it already, but a women's wrestler, because we've mentioned how poorly they've been presented. I mean, they do this stuff for like, Logan Paul or like whoever else is a big
Bad
name.
Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Like, I mean, they even gave this kind of hype up for like Gable Steveson, even though that was a disaster. But guys like that who made that transition from one profession to another. But now you're talking about Jade Cargill, who, I remind you, is only 2 years into her wrestling career, and she's 31 years old, going from AEW being a long reigning, undefeated champion, switching over now to WWE. This is really what they need as far as a kick in the kick in the ass for this women's division. It's gotten stale.
Yeah,
saying they're kind of just reusing their parts and trying to make something new out of it. Putting Becky Lynch on NXT is fine, but it can only do you so much if you're not building up other people at that same rate. Now we're getting Becky Lynch and Tegan Knox and Tiffany Stratton. Cool. But like, where are we going from here as far as story? Now, Jade has a lot of dream matches on the table here. And I think she even alluded to that in the ESPN interview. I was watching a little bit of it. Names like Jade versus Charlotte, Jade versus Bianca, Jade versus Rhea, Jade versus Becky. The list goes on. The entire roster, you name it. Yes, all of those dream matches just go without saying, which is going to make this signing of Jade a success nonetheless. But I really do hope that this is an opportunity for them to take advantage of the momentum of this signing and do better for the roster as a whole, which is where the other side of the coin comes in. This doesn't solve all of their issues. The fact that Jade is now on this roster does not say, oh, Jade's on the roster, we're good. We don't have to worry about anything. Just throw her in a segment every week, give her a little bit of a match every here and there. We're good. No, you still have a whole roster on Raw, which I think is where she'll end up on Raw. And actually, I'm not sure. Maybe SmackDown. Let's say she's on SmackDown. You have a whole roster on SmackDown who are not named Jade Cargill, even though she is on that roster. And then you have a whole other roster on Raw, and you have a whole other roster on NXT. One person does not change and fix all of the problems that you have. You now have to take this momentum and, build the whole women's division around it. Oh, Jade Cargill is now on this roster. We, as the women's division, need to step up our game. Oh, but this person, wants this opportunity more than the other person. Stories are so easy to book, and they're just not doing it. You have 3 hours on Raw, 2 hours on SmackDown, 2 hours on NXT. How many times have we said it? Story, story, story. That's all we are looking for the women. And they just haven't provided that. So yes, in conclusion, Jade coming in is great. Can't wait for her. we even talked about this in like episode 80 something, that we were thinking, oh, Jade coming in, like this could be big. I think it was an episode with me and Marco talking about that. Oh, Jade coming in could be a big thing. But now it's time to step up your game. Are they going to do it? History tells us no, but who knows?
Oh, my brother, testify.
There you go.
I'm gonna say this, and I'll always say this. Great arguments from all sides, but we can't blame booking. Always, it comes down to the talent. If they're not performing, if they're not doing their due diligence, they have to perform. You can give someone a storyline, but at the end of the day, they have to make that storyline like visible. Like
there's got to be some the direction, which is the booking. I mean, you could say.
What I'm saying is that you give them whatever they like. You give them the storyline, you give them the booking, right? And you have them go out there and cut their promos and stuff. If they're not connecting, that's not that they're giving them the tools to do it. You still have to go out there and perform it.
Well, let me ask
you. You're not convinced. You can if you say this, you want Tegan Knox out there, right?
Yeah.
Right. You put her in a storyline. Chances are she's gonna cut a promo. No one's gonna give a shit. And it's not because the storyline's bad. It's because she can't cut a promo.
I agree with that portion, but they bought Jade off of goods they saw in AEW.
Yeah,
and we know she could perform. We know she cut a promo. She's pretty good in the ring, And I know other people are going to be like, "Oh no, she's great. She sucks."
Oh no, yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like everyone else on the
Tegan,
roster.
like we're comparing somebody like Tegan Knox, right? Just not really a whole lot of character development. Not a lot of.
That's what I'm saying.
But but a lot of that can be blamed on the booking and on what you're doing. Some of that can be blamed on the performer if you're not pushing. Like, hey, like Jade's someone who's like a strong, powerful woman that's like she knows what she's gonna be, and she's like gonna bust down the door. Somebody like Tegan Knox, let's be real, like is not gonna do that. So I think that's like a little bit unfair comparison.
I wasn't really thinking. I was like kind of excluding Jade. I'm talking about like the existing roster as it is. I'm just going back from like any other.
Okay, I got you.
Any other person that was given a gimmick, they had to make it work, or they were not going to succeed.
Well, can you give me an example of
is.
Someone who was given like a good spotlight in the women's division? I'm talking about like presented really well and couldn't perform up to that standard.
As far as like a gimmick, you mean, or in the ring?
No, like let's, for example, like Riddle. He was given that huge spotlight on him. Like they put all their eggs into one basket on Riddle, and for his personal reasons, he couldn't deliver. Who was someone in the women's division or like a rivalry or something that they put that effort into and they didn't deliver for their talent or for their in-ring, whatever it may be?
Probably Ronda. You could probably say Ronda.
I think you could argue at one point Nia Jax.
You could say Nia Jax. Yep.
Okay.
You could say, I know they're kind of pushing Shotzi at one point. That kind of floundered. Liv Morgan, they turned on her really quick because of the like the whatever. I'm not like the crowd started booing her.
They turned on. Well, you mean they as in the crowd or they as in the booking?
No, they as in the crowd. That's what I'm saying. Like you still, like I said, at the end of the day, they still have to go out there and do the performing. Look at Chad Gable, Shorty G. They gave him the shittiest gimmick, and he stuck with it, and he got something out of it. He went through it, and he got the crowd to get on his side. Kane would tell you about that when he Dr. Yankum whatever. Like he wasn't sure if he was going to survive. He was like, I got to make this gimmick work. I got to go out there. They got to give me the shitty gimmick. I got to go out and perform it. The booking's bad. It's a shitty gimmick. I still have to go out there and perform and prove that I can still be here. That's what I'm talking about. And it's they can give you something, but you still have to go out there and do it. Like you can't always just blame creative and booking all the time. You still have to execute at some point.
But I understand.
I think you could blame booking like 90% of the time.
Well, it's like sports. Like, are you going to blame the coaches for the players losing? The players have to go out there. And play.
If you watch a bad movie, are you going to blame the actors or the director?
The actors.
I'd blame the director. To be honest with you,
I wouldn't really blame the director because they're giving them direction and they have to execute that direction.
but
director's not
if
on
it's not
screen doing
good
it.
direction,
My whole
I don't
point
know.
in all of this
That's
is the
true.
fact that, yes, if you're given something, you have to make it work. But who was given something outside of, you said Ronda
Yeah.
and Nia? Sure. But I mean, was Tegan Nox ever given something? Was Shotzi truly ever given something? No.
No.
None of them were. That's
I mean,
my whole point.
Shotzi
It's like
a
they were
little
never
bit.
presented in a light where they could deliver. So that's why I blame the booking on it. And that's why the booking has to step up when someone like Jade comes in. Make sure that she has good content, but at the same time, make sure everyone else around her would you rather have a roster where it's okay, who are Jade's competitors right now? Charlotte, Bianca, Rhea, Becky, and maybe Raquel. That's it. Or would you say, you know what? Maybe in a few months from now, Jade versus Tegan Nox would actually be a really good match because Tegan is up on that level of, not your Charlottes and your Biancas, but she's on that upper mid-card level because she's been pushed. Instead of it just being, okay, 5 matches and then that's done for Jade. Because then that's going to fuck over Jade. Like, then she's going to have no one to compete against.
Yeah, and my thing too is with and we talked about this, me and J-Bone, about the evolution of the women's division, not in the sense where it's more women coming in. It's the actual physicality of the women coming in. So you gotta it didn't, but he stuck with it. I'm saying he stuck with it, and he,
Right.
Exactly. But he stuck with it, and they didn't fire him. They showed like,
Talk about
he
Glenn
can
Jacobs,
take it.
yeah.
Anyway, but the what was I saying? It was something with the athletes, the women athletes now. A Tegan Nox does not look like a Jade Cargill. A Tegan Nox does not look like a Charlotte Flair. A Tegan Nox does not look like a Rhea Ripley or a Raquel or a Nia Jax. I think they're going in a different direction of what representation of women look like in the WWE. That's what
they're 100% sure, and they should too, because every woman looks the same. Let's be real
taller,
on that.
stronger, fast. Not that you can't be short and like beat anybody, but you're gonna stick Becky Lynch in a ring with Jade Cargill, and I'm supposed to believe that Becky Lynch is gonna beat Jade Cargill.
Yeah,
she looks like she's chiseled from stone.
Right.
like it's that too. It's the believability factor. That's the other.
But here's the thing, though. Remember, it's play fighting, okay? and Becky has a name value to her. So,
exactly. Because she made something. Oh, that's a perfect example.
But see, that's because of the booking. They were.
She was a fucking steampunk person
for a while. For a while, she was doing nothing, right?
Exactly.
And guess what? The fans got behind her and rallied and said,
Yeah,
that's because of booking, though.
But the fans see something in her. They're not seeing anything in these people. That's what I'm trying to
because
get
they're
to,
not giving opportunities. They're not
right,
giving opportunities
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if you have to put someone in like a main event spot or like a big storyline.
You have to put them in a spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
as much as Becky was the steampunk person, she was still SmackDown Women's Champion. She was still going against Charlotte and Carmella and all these big names. She was still in a spot.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, like I said, maybe they don't see anything in these women. I don't know. That's another possibility.
I think and the AEW is also to blame with this. I think women's wrestling is just like, hey, look, we just kind of have to have this to appease the fans.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that.
I think that's.
I don't think that. You think WWE's doing that?
Yes, 100%. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
not as
the
bad.
Whole women's revolution,
it's not as blatant. That's all bullshit, man. Okay. That whole women's revolution, honestly, was all bull. If you really look at it, I mean, it really was. It was all bullshit. They did that because it was a reactionary move to the Give Divas a Chance match. What was it? The Bella Twins versus Charlotte and somebody or something like that.
Paige and Emma.
Paige and Emma, yeah, that's right. And it was a reactionary move, and they're like, "Oh crap," because it got like major push on social media, big time.
Yeah.
So they had to do something because they were not planning on doing anything. And a lot of that too, I think, is also like your Charlotte Flairs, your Sashas, and all them. They were really, causing a push for that.
Pretty much
as well
NXT
too.
at the time.
Yeah,
anyway.
NXT. Yeah. But I don't think it's just been great. Now, Impact, I feel like, has done the best job. You know, I mean, and but I know not a lot of people. I say not a lot of people. I mean, they have a good audience, but
Yeah.
you know, if you look at the segment, look at the piece of the pie, you probably say that it's probably 10% of the wrestling fans maybe that watch Impact. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually watch it, they do the best job. They actually have, you know, mid-card stories inside the women's division, not just, hey, the women are in the mid-card. You know, that's another problem. It's like the women aren't just in the mid-card. Whereas, you know, we have main event match. I mean, Trinity and Deanna main evented a couple weeks ago. You know, I mean, and I know the women main event here, but I really think we need like a bloodline story for the women, basically. You know, that's really what we need. We need like a bloodline type story. It doesn't have to be about the world title. The bloodline story is not necessarily about the bloodlines, about the world title. You know, Judgment Day, right? It's you got some titles mixed in, but it's really about like the dynamics inside this group of like misused people, right? You know, like, let's do something like that. Do something different. Make a women's stable, you know.
Well, they did, and it was Damage Control. And
Well, you're right. You're right.
But
I'm sorry.
exactly,
Good
like
point.
something that could have worked, they just didn't put their effort into.
Yeah, I mean that was huge when that happened, like, because it was like, oh wow, because and not only you had all these women coming back, especially Bailey, and you know, some of these women that were fired, and they just didn't really do anything with it. I mean, you know, I do think, I mean, they were like, if you have a Dakota Kai and Io Sky, obviously they're elevated a lot more now than what they were. So in that regard, it worked, right? But as a helping the division overall, I don't know.
No.
And so, but you know, Jay coming in, I think will help. But if they drop the ball with this, you know what's going to happen. The fans are going to start coming, especially these people who are just WWE blood, you know, you know, just diehards. They're going to be like, well, that's why you don't get bingo halls. People from the bingo halls come around.
She's gonna get the CODY treatment, dude.
I think she will too. You know?
Yeah,
I think she will.
I think I honestly think they're gonna make her like the.
But if it's
like,
not booked well, then it could be like that. You know.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna. I think the focus on her is because of the amount of media that she's getting. Even blog sites are like doing like talking about it, like talking about her because she has like connections with like, you know, other, like we talked about this, like, you know, mainstream media and all that stuff. She is, you know, her husband's a former, you know, Cincinnati Reds player, right? I forget his
Brandon
name.
Phillips.
Yes. So like, and she's, you know, into fitness and bodybuilding. So she has like a lot of connections with different, like, you know, celebrities and all that stuff. So she's known in that sense. That's why she's gotten that much thing. So I think they're making her, I think they gotta put the like all the chips in the basket and make her like not like on the Roman Reigns level, but I think they're gonna go I think they're gonna put a lot of money into her, a lot of backing into
Imagine
her.
if you do this. Here's an idea, you know, because a lot of people have been saying, and I think we even said it, like pair her with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, right?
Yeah.
But what if you do that, but make her be the leader of that faction? Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're putting all your chips behind her, and there's not a lot you can really say or do if, you know, if perhaps the people don't like the booking of it, which I don't see that could be the case.
Yeah.
You know, honestly. But, you know, she's the leader of this powerful, I mean, former WWE champion, these big time, you know, tag team champions, you know, and, you know, you can even have this dynamic where Bianca's trying to get involved and the Prophet's like, look, you know, it's just business, you know, that kind of thing, you know, like we're separate business and personal. I'm sorry, you know, and then, you know, where that could start the feud, you know, between Bianca and Jade. Like something
that working.
Something like that could work, you know, where you could have a big time story without having a world title on the line. And I think we might have somebody about to chime in here, but yeah, so pretty interesting. Oh, well, I'm not sure if she's coming in or not. We're about to have a guest here in a little bit. I'm gonna pull it up here just shortly. But any other thoughts with Jade? Nope. Wait, here we go. Hold on before anybody goes. We're getting the guest, the one and the only Chick Foley. Nope,
J-Bone.
Hey.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry.
Yes, we're good.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sorry, I am late. I meant to be
That's
here
a
right
problem.
at time.
That's okay.
7
you.
p.m. Eastern is
It's tough. Okay.
it was tight. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you guys sent me the right time. And then I was like, I got home. I was trying to put the goats to bed and put the chickens up and get the kids to bed. And then Marco was like, join in whenever you're ready. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I went to double check the time and I was like, oh, fail. So
Henrietta Godwin's in the house.
I know. Yeah. And of course, this is the night that the heel husband has to work till like midnight. So, I was doing all of this solo. You know what I mean? Normally, I would just pawn all of that off on him if I had to record. But yeah. So I made it though. So I'm super stoked to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we want. I mean, we had to have the Pod Foundation Mama come in.
The Pod Mama.
The
Pod
Pod
Mommy.
come in,
That's me.
help us all. I mean, kind of, help us all get connected. You really did a lot. In some ways, really did. I mean, I wouldn't have heard of Turnbuckle Tavern, if it wasn't, for Chick Foley's show, and of course, Extra Cooler and everything, and then. We kind of have like a little bit of a collection of all. Everybody
it's a family. It's our little pod family.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
and it's really cool. I love.
Oh, just went muted.
Oh no,
it's
you're
okay.
doing the young Anthony. Oh no.
Oh no, she did.
J-Bone, we're the only.
Move to another room like I did. There you go.
We're the only strong connection.
We'll leave it like that.
We had a guest. That was nice.
Well, that was nice. Thanks, Sheena, for joining us.
I think I'm back. Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. You see, my tech guy's not here either, so
No, it's all good. But yeah,
my tech guy's never here either. So
you are the tech guy.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Sadly.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I know I missed the intro, and I don't know if you guys got to talk about it, but happy 100th episode of the RAWDOWN. That is a huge, huge accomplishment. Most podcasts don't make it past like their first month. So the fact that you guys have collectively sat down and recorded 100 episodes is like a huge, huge milestone. And I know this is a spinoff of all the other things that you guys have going on too. So really, really cool.
TNT. Boost the ratings for RAWDOWN. We had,
thanks, Tyson.
We have to go to the blood. We have to go to the click. No, yeah, we appreciate it. We were just talking about Jade. Get your thoughts. I can't remember if y'all talked about it on Chick-fil-A show.
Yeah, well, it hadn't officially broke yet when we recorded our like Chick Quickie episode most recently. But yeah, the fact that she's there, I am a little disappointed that they like made such a big deal and announced it, because like for me personally, I love just like the music hits in the middle of an unexpected moment, and then you see like it takes you a moment to think about like, oh my God, who is this? And then Jade just walks through with just her absolute it factor just oozing from every pore of her body, and you just lose your freaking mind. Right now, every event we're going to be waiting for it. Like, well, when is Jade coming? When is Jade coming? When is Jade coming? Where is she going? So, I mean, I'm stoked. I think it's a great move for her. I think she made the right choice to go to WWE. I wish they would have just kept it under wraps for at least a little bit. And maybe that's because they're going to send her to NXT for a little while, or maybe she needs some more development and they knew they weren't going to be able to keep it on the low for that long, so they wanted to be ahead of it, which is fine. But again, just the mark in me and the story lover in me just wants that moment where it's just like, holy shit.
How cool would it have been if like, you have Bianca in the ring, like let's say on a PLE, and she's just cutting a promo, or maybe after a match, and you just hear cut the shit.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to hear cut the shit on
Raw. You're not going to hear Raw
TV.
You might hear it on
Byron, cut the shit.
Cut the shiz.
Cut the crap doesn't really hit the same. So if she has to say cut the crap.
Maybe they'll let her go. Maybe it's cable. Maybe they'll let her
true.
Depending on the streaming, wherever the WWE lands, maybe they'll be able to get away with some swear words. I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah.
But Michael,
Let's
Cole
edge it
took
up.
the
Let's
shit.
edge it up a little bit.
I wonder if she could steal Brandy's line. Who told you it was
Hell
open
told
mic?
you
Oh,
the
the
night
famous.
was open mic night.
She's the famous intro of my show.
Yeah,
know.
she is.
Holds
Yeah.
a special place.
Yeah, Brandy was like the third man on the Chick Foley show for
Oh man, yeah, that
for
was
a series of months. Yeah, so
man,
yeah,
we were-
Brandy has a special place in all of our hearts.
lots of Brandy talk. Little brand we would
Little
talk
brand
about.
when her figure came out. Yeah. And she's back in the news again, talking, being Cody's mouthpiece, right?
Oh man,
Trying to say the
Turn the
things that
pot.
he doesn't want to say because he's like the most white meat baby face of in WWE right now. So he sent who, the heifer, out to
Oh,
do
my
the
God.
work.
Oh boy.
Cody's
Yeah.
like, I like
Yeah,
wrestling.
Yeah. Cody's like, wrestling is fun. Wrestling is great. And freaking Brandy's like, who the hell told you to push Cody to WrestleMania 41?
Yeah, did you guys watch that? Did you guys see the documentary, the Cody Rhodes doc that they did on Peacock?
Oh
Yeah, it was pretty much it's literally what you said. Like, Cody's like talking about his time, like all nice, and then when they cut to Brandy, she's just like, "No, we hated that shit. We wanted to get the fuck out of that place."
Yeah.
Cody's just like, you know what?
I just saw that she came out and said something about, how she felt like people should have stood up for her whenever. I know this isn't an AEW show, but people should have stood up for her whenever she was, doing creative and all that kind of stuff. And like how the women weren't getting over and they were all kind of blaming Brandy. And, I was just like, Brandy, like it's too little too late now. Like
the Nightmare Collective family.
This is Cody on the reg.
Is everyone here a wrestling fan or sports entertainment?
That's Cody. I like wrestling, and I also like sports entertainment.
I also love that Sheena dropped my favorite line of all time in the Raw Down that we say at least once every episode. I know this isn't an AEW show, but
yeah, we always say that. Well, because we have to get our 2 cents in, because obviously
there's a clear overlap there. You know what I mean? Right now, because it's like we got Cody. The Cody talk, organically went to Brandy, and
CM Punk
just organically led to Let's not talk about CM Punk while I'm here.
Well, I mean, did you guys see the interview with Shawn Michaels earlier
today?
So
homeless Shawn?
Yeah, it was like he did like one of those, like, he was in his office doing an interview and he was talking about, NXT, how blah, blah, blah. And then they asked about CM Punk and he said he was like, I'd welcome him to NXT with open arms.
Shawn's such full
like, I never had any problems with him. Well, you got to think, Shawn Michaels, 96, 97, CM Punk now, kind of the same character.
Maybe we just need CM Punk to find God. Maybe CM Punk just needs to find religion.
Man, I actually think he's gonna smoke a joint.
I mean, clearly the drugs aren't the problem. We know with Shawn, it was a mix of lots of substances that created
it was
total dickhead Shawn.
It was drugs and lack of God.
Yeah,
drugs and lack of God.
Whereas CM Punk, it was lack of God and no drugs. So I think drugs is a common error.
He was
common.
It's not. It wasn't the drugs. It was God all along. So I mean, it's.
One time I went to a Pritchard show and JBL got the whole crowd chanting drugs. So drugs.
Oh, Shawn Michaels was the opposite of Hulk Hogan. He wasn't saying his prayers, but he was definitely eating some type of vitamins.
Yeah.
At that time, so fun vitamins.
Yeah, fun vitamins. But yeah, anyway, Jade, where do we see Jade at? Let's say WrestleMania.
This WrestleMania, this upcoming WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that's when she's gonna debut.
And is it NXT World Championship picture, or is she gonna be debut?
World title, I would say.
I think she's going right to the top, dude.
Yeah.
If they have all these big plans for her, like they've been saying that they do, I mean, how do you not put her in the world title picture? I don't know when she joins the company. With all this press around her, it would make sense to put her in sooner rather than later. I mean, Chicago's a good place at Survivor Series. Next weekend's a good place in Indianapolis if they really want to push the boundaries. But WrestleMania, I would say, just give her the title. Who cares? It's fucking Jade.
Which title?
It would make more sense for the SmackDown title, because I don't know if you want to take that title off of Rhea, but it could be either or. I mean, Rhea versus Jade is probably one of your biggest matches that you could do at WrestleMania. But
she's gonna be the new USA Network champion. That's what she's gonna be.
Yeah, but I don't know. But
Yes,
are
they
you
are.
thinking they're going to bring in a heel Jade? Because if it's Rhea versus Jade, that's some serious heel. I
That's
think
true.
Jade is better as a heel. Obviously,
Yeah, I think so
you
too.
know, the heel persona definitely suits her gimmick more. So I don't know. I think she needs a babyface opponent
Yeah.
to really solidify.
Nia Jax.
Oh,
We had
see, that should tell you right there. We have Nia Jax like running shit right now, and so it's just like, you know, let's do something. We got to shake
She's
it up
not like
somehow.
most
So just
girls,
push.
from what I
Yeah,
hear.
she's not like most
She
girls.
isn't.
So just
confirmed she's not like
push-
most girls.
She's not.
push Jade in.
like most
Jade ain't
girls.
like most girls either, and I'm here for that.
She's also not like most men.
That's true.
Including myself.
Oh my God.
That's true.
Yeah, so I don't know that interview with the maker of fine footwear, it was pretty interesting. You know, they asked her, you know, what was this like kind of a hard decision? She was like, no, wasn't. It kind of surprised me, especially what she said like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where she was putting Mr. Khan over, Tony Khan, that is, not Nick Khan. I don't know. I kind of agree. I mean, yeah, for her, it makes sense.
Say what
Especially
you
with the way
want.
the
The
women's
goal, the
division-
ultimate goal is like, and especially somebody like Jade who wasn't like, you know, a hardcore like wrestling fan, like, you know, didn't like, you know, make her way up through like the indies and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think for her, it's just, dude, being in WWE is the goal, dude. Like, that's like the gold standard of like,
Yep.
I am going to be a freaking superstar, you know?
Yeah, she said that too.
Yeah, so it's just like, dude, it makes sense. Like, you want that freaking stamp on your resume. You, whether you know how long it lasts or whatever, the fact that you were a WWE superstar, that's the cream of the crop. That is the tippy top. No shade to AEW, but it's just not the same. It does not carry the same weight as working for, like, when you tell somebody you work for WWE, like, they don't have to be wrestling fans. You can tell anybody in America you work for WWE. They know what you do. You tell somebody you work for AEW, they're like, oh, what is that? You know, a factory? Like, they don't know. You know what I mean? So I think her going to WWE was definitely the move.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said she would welcome. She didn't burn any bridges. Tony Khan said
No.
she's welcome back to AEW anytime.
Yeah,
So-
he did say that, and you know, it's business, never personal, as I always say. It's not like, you know, she didn't leave because, you know, any personal issues.
Mhm.
She left because the business wasn't good on that
Yeah.
side. Like she probably seen the writing on the wall that she was never gonna get, you know, a title shot at any point. Because they
which
never
is
pulled the
which is a
trigger on her in
shame,
that
which is
sense.
really
Yeah.
sad.
It really
You know?
is. It's really. I mean, although the storytelling's gotten better in AEW. And again, I'm not talking AEW, but that whole women's division, the way they handle it, it really pushes me away from watching their product a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's just you have talented females. You have talented. It's like you're just wasting a whole segment of your talent.
And besides
why?
Jade, like like they all are just very homogenous. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you could just line up like the AEW women's roster, and I would just be like, like which one of you is which? Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's like build a player, create a player. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how women's wrestling transcends now with Jade. But let's go ahead and wipe our feet real quick, and we're gonna
Okay.
go inside the ropes.
Collar and elbow.
By the way, Chad told me that these are just two jabrones.
Yeah,
kinda
the mystery has been solved. We thought they were like some like old school like classic wrestlers, but they're just two like you said, jabronis.
Just
Jabrones.
like some YouTube video that's like how to wrestling.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it looks like. Yeah,
100%.
very upset. Did he say who does the voice-o or no?
I don't know.
That's still a mystery,
I
right?
don't know. Yeah, that's a. I know some of it's
And
one of the
elbow.
significant others of the
Oh.
Chads. Does a lot of it, but and sometimes I think Sneeds does some of it too.
Yeah.
But anyway, kind of a light week. You know, we're kind of on the road to FASTLANE. You know, mainly a lot of the news was kind of soaked up with Jade. Pretty damn good match on Raw with Dragon Lee and Dom.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
man.
that was awesome. dude.
Dominic coming up in the ranks, put
Yeah.
on 5-star matches. This kid.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I mean, I'll also like to, biggest criticism is like, AEW doesn't do stories; they just do these random matches. Well, this was kind of a random match.
That's true.
It's kind of funny,
Well, no,
but anyway,
if you watch NXT, it's not a random
nobody
match,
watches that crap. But anyway,
NXT is actually pretty good, dude. I mean,
I know.
it ebbs and flows, so it's hard to know when to jump in and when to jump out. But yeah, the NXT's been pretty damn good.
It's
Yeah.
like it's been really hard for me to jump in. It's like I will be watching No Mercy this weekend, which we could kind of talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. I wrestling sometimes.
I dabble.
I dabble.
But I guess we could start off, one of the matches. I guess we're gonna have a handicap match at FASTLANE with
John Cena.
John Cena
The
and
Bloodline.
Jimmy versus Jimmy. Yeah, the Bloodline. What is the feeling with this Jimmy Uso? Yeah, in, yeah. Which one is it?
In,
Yeah.
in, out.
I feel like we're convoluting the Bloodline story. Like, I know there's a holding pattern, waiting for Roman to get back, but this really just proves how important Roman is to this overall dynamic, right? But
For sure. I mean,
what's the feeling on it?
I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's going to end up being a handicap match. I think we're actually going to get somebody in there, whether it's, looking like LA Knight from what I've read. It would be cool if it was like Randy. I think, having Orton return, that would be a cool way for him to return. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is
Orton
what it
would
is.
be
I have
cool.
not, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but
Oh, well, what? Hold on. We got something right here for the
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
but I just have not been impressed with John Cena this little go around, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I feel like when you see John Cena, it should be like when you see The Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like, it should be like special, and it should like make you be like, oh my gosh, and it has not done that for me at all. Like, I feel like John Cena is just another guy out there on
right.
TV.
Good point.
Yeah.
And they got him in this freaking, supposed handicap match. And it was like a random match with AJ Styles to begin with. Like, I don't know. For me, it's not doing it, dude. I want to see John Cena in a big time match, whether he wins or loses, it doesn't matter. But I want him to see him like come back for a purpose and not just to be in like multi-man matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this time during WWE is always just like lackluster. You got to start the NFL season. Shout out to the Goal Line. You tune into them every Tuesdays. But
thanks. I'll let them know you shut them out. That was nice.
I'm an avid listener every Tuesdays. But it's kind of a weak period. It always is in WWE, and it just feels weird that he's kind of thrown in the mix. Anthony, you've been quiet over there. What's your thoughts?
I agree with Sheena. The whole John Cena run has been, I wouldn't say a flop yet.
Just weird, right? Like, it's just weird.
It's like, I understand Cena doesn't want to wrestle every week. I think we had a little bit too high expectations when we came into this Cena run, which I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I was the one that said before Cena came here, don't expect something monumental. The last summer of Cena that we had, it was just dark matches with the fucking bloodline. So look, I understand that Cena coming in, the sheer magnitude of his name may, bring about, what are these dream matches going to be? Cena and Grayson Waller, and Cena versus Chad Gable, and this first, at the end of the day, it's a 40-something-year-old John Cena who is also a full-time actor, part-time wrestler. Well, especially now with the writer's strike, being over, we're not going to be seeing much of him that much going forward anyways.
Which only further proves my point that how much longer do we have with Cena, period? Like, before it's just like done for good. So you would think you would be like, okay, like this may be it, dude. This may be our like last hurrah with Cena. Let's set something up like with Roman kind of like, out right now. Like, let's set something up that is like important and meaningful and like a dream match scenario. But instead, like, who's to say, like, this may be it. This may be the last we see of John Cena. I mean, I doubt it. He'll probably come back. The man is like a machine. But I mean, dude, like you said, he's getting up there. He's got more bumps on his previous bump card than he's got in front of him, dude. So I think
how are we not seeing, like, I mean, it'd be kind of difficult for me to kind of see it, but I think it could be done. But how are we not seeing like Cody Rhodes versus Cena here? I mean, Cody Rhodes doesn't really have anything right now. It'd be more of a reason where you could kind of get Rhodes over during this time. I mean, I know it's like babyface versus babyface, but and maybe you're splitting the audience. Maybe that's the risk there. But
like, I don't think Cody needs John Cena to put him over. Yeah. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's an insult to Cody that, like, oh, we're gonna bring in John Cena to put you over, dude.
Right,
like, I think Cody stands on his own 2 feet, dude.
I'm just thinking of something better to do with Cena than just trot him out in his stupid ass t-shirts and jeans. Like, it's getting to a point, at
a certain point you start to get creepy because you start to get a little too old to wear the cartoons. You know what I mean? Like, you start to like verge on that line of like creepy uncle status. You know what I mean? Like, and he's there.
Yeah.
He's there. So
he's not as bad as the Hardys yet, though. But he's
true.
Yeah,
I mean, the Hardys is a whole different level.
They're all keeping Jinko pants and jorts relevant. So
Gadzooks,
good for them.
Yeah.
They must have bought out like a Gadzooks, like in their entire line, and they just
it had to be just like they have like a whole warehouse full of 2000s goth clothing.
Definitely, I think they're time travelers, man. I think Matt Hardy is actually a time traveler, and he is, and he goes back and he gets those pants, man. I think.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Back to Cena, like, just real quick, the names that he's been involved with, not even in I mean, we haven't seen any Cena matches yet, but just the names that he's been involved with. Grayson Waller, sure, him and Grayson Waller, he could use that rub. But then you look at like The Miz, AJ Styles, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, someone else that I can't.
Gable, or was it Gable? No,
I don't even think he's been with Gable. Like,
maybe not. Yeah,
those 4 or 5 names alone. Styles needs to be with Cena. Like, Miz needs to cut a promo on John Cena. Like, what are we doing here?
And that was horrible. That was one of the worst. When he was like the guest referee or whatever, that was like John Cena. I was like, he took the clown level up to like 50, dude. And I was like, dude, no, John. Like, you need to come. I want to see serious Cena, because serious Cena, when he's on his shit, he is on. Like, he can out mic anybody.
Yeah.
But 100%. He just.
I mean, even just look at earlier this year, like Cena, we have this match with Austin Theory. We're like, oh my God, like Cena's finally getting back in the ring. This could be a good way to put over Austin Theory. And it was the most textbook, basic ass match you have ever seen from Cena. I don't even know if it hit 10 minutes. It was every move that you would expect Cena to hit. He hit in the exact order you would expect him to hit it. And then Theory wins like it's nothing. Is that what we are going to see at Fastlane?
I'm convinced he's a robot. He's a freaking robot, dude. There's no way. Like, he's just programmed to do like one thing, and that's it. Like, he's like, if he does anything, it's like short circuit, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, does not compute. Like.
How old is Cena now? What is he, like 45?
He's got to be 45, dude.
Yeah, late 40s, right?
Like,
60s. Yeah, he's a vampire. He doesn't age.
He really is.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to look at his.
I mean, that whole
Cena is 46 years old.
Yeah, so that makes him what, 20? If I do my math right, that's 24 years younger than Hogan. And I mean, Hogan was doing it at a higher level at 46 years old. I mean, granted, I know like he wasn't. I mean, NWO level. That was definitely around an end.
Hogan was 46 during the NWO.
I believe so.
I mean, Hogan wasn't doing Hurricane Ranas. He was, throwing punches, dropping a big.
Cena's not either.
No, I know, but at least he's like a little bit more physical in the ring.
So Hogan was doing back breaks, brother.
Yeah, body.
Have you seen John Cena's STF? Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too good. Looks more. It's comfy.
Yeah, nice. I just want to like lay my head
emotional.
in there and be like, "Ah, this is a nice stretch. Thank you. I'll
Thanks.
take some more,
appreciate it.
please."
My knee needed this. But
Yeah.
My knee.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel weird about it, and I feel weird about this whole pay review so far. I mean, even like what was last?
We only got
month's
2
again?
announced matches, right?
It's
It's a
weird.
filler.
What are we doing here?
It's
Yeah.
a filler
Shinsuke and
pay-per-view.
Seth.
Or
Shinsuke and
PLE.
Seth, and then Bloodline
Yeah.
and Cena. I think that's the only confirmed matches. Most likely
Yeah.
going to get Drew McIntyre and Jay. When you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Or Cody. Could have Cody
Maybe.
involved
They
somewhere.
teased it a little bit, Drew and Cody, before the whole New Day
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, it's possible. That's a possibility.
It was such a that's one cool thing. Raw was awesome this week, and that it gave me like total Attitude Era vibes. Like it was just like all the
Yeah.
storylines were like interwoven with each other. There was like people showing up that had already been on like 2 segments previous. Like like in former like Vince land, it would have been all like compartmentalized and like this
Yeah.
person has their segment, this person has their segment. Like then you
Yeah.
don't see them again the rest of the night, dude. So yeah, I'm loving all of this just like intermingling of like
It
yes.
is.
We do belong. We do all coexist in the same universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And, yeah, the weird thing too is I
We
think they're trying to do
belong
the same thing.
together.
They're trying to do the same thing with SmackDown, where they had like what was it, a couple weeks back or maybe a week ago, they had the Judgment Day on there. And that's where that whole AJ Styles Judgment Day, like he had a problem with them. And then the Paul Heyman pretty much called them in, to take care of AJ Styles. And then that's how you get the bloodline involved. So it really isn't, as like loose as you think it is. It's all intertwined. They just didn't execute it the right way as they did. Obviously with LA Knight getting COVID, that kind of ruined
Oh, I forgot
last
about
week's
that.
episode of
Yeah.
SmackDown. So that didn't help out much. And now we don't even know if he's coming back. He was supposed to come out and do a run-in at the end of SmackDown last week and save John
Right.
Cena. So he just got his ass kicked, basically. So
Yeah.
that kinda
So I
ruined-
mean, yeah, I guess I
everything there.
don't know if that's the plan for him to tag, but I guess I don't know if he's out now. I don't really know what COVID protocols are anymore, but
yeah.
I don't know if he's going to come back or what this week, but
it's a choose your own adventure these days.
Yeah. Maybe The Rock will come back and team with John Cena. That kind of makes more sense of
God.
him facing
Oh
the
man.
Oh, just no.
That's two
Never
old dudes,
before, never again.
2 old guys just
Maybe one more
tagging up.
time.
I mean, yeah, it's just like let's get this in before the writer's strike before you book another job. Like
They
no.
do the Arnold. They do the Arnold and Carl Weathers like handshake at the beginning of Predator before they face off with the Bloodline. It actually does make sense if The Rock is in that match because it's eventually going to happen.
It does.
He's
but
facing Roman at some point.
I'm just tired of seeing them together. To be honest with you, it's like,
but Rock
You're on.
and Cena.
yeah. I'm just over them. But
Have you guys heard Cornette's opinion on how they could go about this whole Cody, Roman, and
very.
It was actually not bad. It was
Okay.
actually a
Let's
good
hear
plan.
it.
it was
give us the
basically,
cliffs.
If I remember correctly, the way that they could pull it off is by having Roman and Cody at the Rumble,
Which I said
And-
last week.
and then you would have The Rock kind of interfere in some way to fend off Jimmy or Solo, whoever it may be. Have Cody win the title there, and then move on to WrestleMania, where you have Roman and The Rock just in a regular one-on-one match. And I believe it was. And I can't remember if he said one or the other for Cody as champion, but he either said Cody versus Cena, where Cena could go for the 17th championship,
Okay.
or Cody versus Punk. I believe he said Cody versus Punk.
Punk's coming back, dude. I'm convinced.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I think Mussolini's coming back.
I mean, to be
It's
fair,
like a part-time
I'm
guy.
not,
like
I'm
a
not mad at
full-time-
that. I definitely think Cody deserves to have a WrestleMania moment. So I mean, I'm not mad at him winning the title at the
Yeah.
Rumble.
And I said, yeah.
I don't know. I just can't imagine them allowing Roman to walk into Mania without some gold, though. Like, it's just going to look and feel weird. You know what I mean? I get it. I mean, The Rock doesn't need the title. Like, there's absolutely zero reason for The Rock to be in a title match.
It's a tribal it's the head. Who's the real head of the table match? That's how they'll say it. Who's the real leader of the
It's an Ulafala on a pole match.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll have it hanging up there. Ulafala on a pole match.
Well, I mean, honestly, that gives you a good dynamic if, they kind of did some, obviously, and not a year in advance, but, if Rock comes in, he confirms the match for WrestleMania months in advance, and you have Rock just come in like, Terramana and Moana and all that.
Zoa. What's his other one?
Zoa.
USFL. God damn.
Yeah.
And he confirms the match is going to be for the title. And then you have Cody kind of be like, no. We have the match at the Rumble. Cody takes the title, but we still have Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. That could give a nice dynamic, not as predictable,
They'd have to have that locked in, like behind the scenes, obviously. By the Rumble, like, because if something falls apart,
right?
Yeah, they would have to have that locked in, because
like it doesn't make sense for them to confirm it at the Rumble too, or around that time.
No, you don't have to confirm it, but you'd have to like at least behind us, like have it pinned to paper.
Oh,
Rock, you're gonna be here.
But who's gonna win? Who's gonna win the Rumble then?
I think whoever wins the Rumble is gonna go after the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, that's the only path.
I think you're gonna either have Gunther. I'm gonna say Gunther or LA Knight. Those are
the two front runners for sure.
I think Gunther.
Yeah, I'd be cool. I'd be cool with Tommaso Ciampa dethroning Gunther, because I love Ciampa. I mean, I know he hasn't been a shining light in the main roster, but this could be the moment. Maybe the Gunther rub.
That would be. That's actually
Tommaso
really good
Ciampa
spot.
the rocket strap, and he can get back to
that.
The Blackheart that we know and love. But yeah, I would be cool with him dethroning Gunther, and then Gunther going for the title.
That would be good. I mean, I would even say, like, hey, keep the Intercontinental title on Gunther and let him roll into Mania with it. It could be title
like
for
Warrior.
Title. Like Warrior, yeah. And then he's like, well, I'm World Heavyweight Champion. Like Andy with Woody. I don't want to play with this anymore.
Bye, Woody. He just drops it.
So I don't know. That would be that would kind of be. But I do like that idea of Ciampa, because you got to have somebody put somebody over with this.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would have Mania, 2 nights of Mania, and then we're not going to get an Intercontinental title defense. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't think they're going to let everybody roll into the main event with all the gold.
It wasn't until recently until we got Intercontinental matches back on Mania. So
well, true.
Yeah. But thank God we did. But I don't know what else. Is there anything else to really talk about this week?
We saw another Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match. Yay, another one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but there's a rumor that Survivor Series could see War Games for Judgment Day versus KO, Sammy, Cody, and Jay. As much as that match would be very good, can this be it? I'm like actually begging the WWE at this point, because we have not seen, or rather, we have seen every single combination possible between these 8 guys that we could possibly get. Tag team matches, one-on-ones, pay-per-view matches, triple threat tag team crazy matches. We have seen everything, to the point where it's been a running joke now on RAWDOWN that I just turned the show off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I know what the fucking main event's going to be. It's going to be Cody, KO, and Sami Zayn are standing tall, or vice versa, the Judgment Day get a sneaky win. It's the same shit over and over. If they do this War Games match, this has to be it. They've been doing this for months now. It's gotten so tiresome. Like, there's no it is predictable. Like, every week is the same thing. The amount of times that I've seen KO and Sami Zayn run to the ring. I'm tired of hearing. I don't even know how I'm tired of hearing Worlds Apart anymore. I fucking love that song, and now every time I hear it again. But I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the potential War Games match between these 8? Because it's going to be a good match for me, but I just really hope that this is completely it.
Well, they need a 5th person for each side, though.
You don't have to have it.
Unless they do 4-on-4.
Yeah, you need 5. I think they'll add someone else.
JD McDonough for me is just mid.
Oh my gosh.
He's actually
it's like I
below
was
mid.
watching Raw and I was like, one of these things is not like the other. Like I was just like, you know, like just JD McDonough just standing there, and I was just like, this is not like he's a round peg in a square hole, dude.
Yeah. I could see Drew joining them for the War Games match on the Judgment Day side. Kind of like Rhea Ripley did with the ladies. They just like threw her in there and she was a part of it. And if you notice, he's starting to wear black. If you watch us past Monday Night McIntyre. So that's a telltale sign that he's turning heel.
Black.
It's true. He's not wearing like the colorful blue anymore. Like he's wearing the black leather jacket, black kilt.
I mean, hasn't he always worn like mostly black though? Like I feel like black has pretty much been his like color scheme with like
not the leather jacket though. The leather jacket's a different touch to it. And the leather
it was just like I feel like
leather.
he just wore white trunks like one time and maybe it clouded your judgment, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, Drew McIntyre's wearing white trunks. What is happening here?
I mean, there is like in the dirt sheets they are saying he's due for like a heel turn at some point. So I can see that happening.
I mean, I think he's pretty heelish right now. I mean, he's letting everybody get the shit beat out of him every week and just walking away and turning away, dude. So I mean, that's pretty heelish behavior. I mean, the freaking New Day had to come out and be like, you know, we used to believe in you, you know, you were a hero and blah blah blah. And now you're just an asshole, you know, like so yeah, I think he's pretty heelish.
He took up some Riddle traits of being an asshole.
Yeah.
I can't see. I would like a War Games match. Just if you just think about the history of War Games, all right. With the first one started with LOD and Nikita Koloff and Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. We got JD McDonough in a War Games match.
Well, we don't know this. We don't know yet. We don't know. Well, I'm telling you, it's gonna be Drew. They're not putting JD McDonough in there. I think it's gonna be Drew.
I mean, that's to say we're having a War Games match. They still haven't even. By this point last year, they confirmed that the show was called Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah, they just called it Survivor Series.
They're just doing something, you know, a surprise.
Well, they could.
I don't know.
It could be traditional Survivor Series match they might be doing for this as well. That's another way to look at it. So they might go back to that if they're not going to add War Games, which.
The one night a year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head in competition.
God, no.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get Seth Rollins wearing his half and half, you know, swag gear and like a half Raw shirt, you know.
I'm like Michael Scott. Oh, please, God, no! Toby just arrived. Directed off.
Can't wait for that reboot. By the way, that's gonna be great.
We'll see.
The Office reboot. Jesus.
Are any reboots good nowadays?
I mean, what is not a reboot nowadays? That's the first question.
We should do a RAWDOWN reboot.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Start from the top. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll call it the Down Raw. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. Something I actually just saw just now, but it looked like they posted it earlier today. I thought it was like breaking news, but the old Twitter X thing, whatever, it's so weird now. But apparently, Edge has been removed from an internal roster again.
Yeah, he's been added.
Wasn't he already removed from the internal roster?
Oh, he got put it back on another roster.
Oh, okay, got it. So I can't wait till 2 weeks, you know, like a week from now when he's put back on the roster, and then and then 2 weeks following.
And then he was added to the new SmackDown intro, which is kind of strange as well. So who the hell knows what's going on?
Well, his contract's supposed to be up Saturday, so we'll see.
Yep.
And when is Wrestle Dream is
Sunday
or Saturday? Sunday.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Do we want to preview No Mercy real quick? Just go through the card.
Sure. Let's
just an old school. Hey, NXT.
South slanging, rolling with these hustlers. trying to get rid of all you haters and you bastards. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters bastards.
That was a perfect amount of time for me to pull up the NXT card because I don't
Love
even know
that.
what's on this show.
Yeah,
Yay.
no. Besides Becky and Tiffany, yeah, it's Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov, dude, that's gonna be mage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That last match was really good.
Braun and Corbin too. I love
Yeah,
Braun
yeah,
Breaker.
I do like
good.
that.
This card looks pretty good from what
It's gonna be a good show, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
Who's
I don't-
did they say who? What do you call it's facing? Dominic.
Yeah,
Trick
so
Williams.
let's break this down. So we'll start with the pre-show match: Blair Davenport versus Kelani Jordan. I think there's
Don't know any of
a
those two ladies.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Well, I
go
think
Blair
Dana
Davenport.
Brooke was involved in that story, and then
Yeah, she
no,
got
she's not.
released.
Yeah.
But it probably will be a good win.
She
for
got on.
Blair Davenport.
Blair Davenport. Yeah.
Let's go to the North American Championship used to be Mustafa Ali, but now we have Dirty Dom defending against Trick Williams with
Ooh.
Dragon Lee as the special guest referee. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't have any sort of grudge or anything. I can't imagine why.
Why?
Yeah,
why wouldn't
right.
they just do Dragon Lee? I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Because he already
I don't
faced. Maybe
Because we just had him. Yeah. Dirty Dom put his ass in the mat.
Yeah.
know. Your ass is grass, so I'm gonna
Ooh,
smoke
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Wait.
He dedicated that match to mommy.
I'm gonna say Dom's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
dude.
Dom retaining
Mhm.
here.
Yeah. 100%.
We've got Noam Dar defending the NXT Heritage Cup against Butch.
No Amdar.
Noam Dar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark. Man, I remember
yeah.
there used to be a time when I was like, total like anytime Pete Dunne / Butch was on the card, I was like, oh yeah, Pete Dunne, duh. Now,
What happened in the NXT Europe? You remember that too? Like that was supposed to be a thing.
yeah, I don't know. They
Probably not happening after this merger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. We have a fatal 4-way tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The family of Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo defending against the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, and OTM, Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. I've got my money on OTM. I don't know about you guys.
Don't know who that is.
I like the Creed brothers.
I'm going with the Creed. I always pick the Creed brothers.
I could
dude.
see the
insane,
Los Lotharios getting a little sneaky win here.
Oh, that's a possibility.
All I remember is the 30 minutes that I've watched of NXT this month. The Creed brothers mentioned that it's been a year since their last title reign. So
A
I feel
year?
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Oh
been
my
it's been a while.
gosh! Wow,
while,
I'm
so-
freaking flies, dude.
yeah, I'll give it
Yep.
to the Creeds.
But I don't know if you would.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's smart to give him the win in a fatal 4-way. Wouldn't it be best if they just did like a straight up match?
Yeah,
Nah,
I don't know.
I
nah.
don't know. It's NXT. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin.
Ooh.
Braun.
Ron Breaker. Yeah.
Braun.
I wish there was a stip to this match here, but
Yeah.
the little bit I've seen looks pretty good.
We've got the NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes defending against Ilya Dragunov. What will surely be a
That's
banger.
gonna be tough.
This is going to be a banger, dude. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be tough. I could totally see a situation where Carmelo drops the belt and then he's ready for the big time. I mean, he's been ready for the big time, dude. But I don't know if they're going to do it at freaking No Mercy. But I mean, like you said, it's NXT. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
And Dragunov, I mean, he's badass. So I mean, I wouldn't blink an eye at him being champ.
Right.
I'll give it to Dragunov. I feel like Carmelo has been ready for the main roster for a while now, and I think there's a lot that you can do with Dragunov, especially since this is a rematch. I mean, do you have Carmelo beat Ilya twice? I don't think so. I think you give it to Ilya here.
Do you think the reason why they haven't moved Carmelo up is just that there's just not a place for him right now, like to be
Yeah.
like to rise to his potential, because the bloodline's really been like, clogging up a lot of the main event scene. And then, obviously, I don't know, with like Seth and stuff, I don't know. I feel
I mean, if anything, that's probably better off. Like they're learning from their mistakes with past NXT call-ups, like EC3. There was no place for him, but now you're kind of waiting it out. With NXT being technically the third brand now, it kind of gives them that leverage to be like, all right, well, there's no spot for him now. Let's let him hold this title and do a few more good matches so that when there is a spot, now we can throw him in there.
I could see a world where he's a kind of a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble and he wins. He goes after the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania.
That'd be cool. That's a huge rocket strap, but I mean,
it is. But
cool.
I think they have a lot of faith in him. Sure. I mean, is it likely? No, but I mean, I wouldn't be like opposed to it. So
I could totally see Carmelo coming in and like putting on an awesome performance, dude, and then just like getting put out on like, and then the audience is just like, no, kind of just looking like he's gonna like take it, and then getting put out, and then just get the foaming of the mouth of the audience ready for Carmelo.
Yeah.
What about Carmelo versus Gunther for the IC title?
That'd be cool.
That'd be legit.
I mean, yeah.
We'll put a pin in that.
Yeah.
We'll put a pin in that. But this is the match that I think should main event. But this is the second time in a row that I've said that a Becky Lynch match should main event, and it didn't. So Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton. Extreme Rules for the
Extreme Rules. Get out of here.
Hardcore match.
Yeah.
Weapons match.
They're hardcore.
Yeah.
This is a difficult one,
dude.
I think so too. Because I mean, how long do you really want to keep Becky in NXT?
Yeah, true.
I guess it depends on what they're gonna do with Jade.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you have Jade coming in NXT, you have Tiffany Stratton win the title, and then Jade goes, "Cut the shit, Tiffany."
I mean, or vice versa. Becky retains, and then Jade makes her debut.
Yeah,
and you have
that's what
NXT,
I'm thinking.
Jade versus Becky. I mean,
that's butts in the seats right there.
Yeah. Not that I think that Jade would be in NXT. I think she's probably going to SmackDown. But if you wanted to really, spice things up a little bit, Jade versus Becky would be huge. That's why I'm giving it to Becky. I think there's still some work to be done that she could elevate the NXT roster around her. And I mean, Tiffany's already pretty much made. Like, she's been showing up on the main roster. Like, she's ready to go. You have someone like a Lyra Valkyria, whatever her name is, or like a Gigi Dolan, a JC Jane, a Thea Hale, whatever her name is. Some other people who could use the NXT championship. I don't think Tiffany's that person, and it would kind of defeat the purpose to have Becky Lynch be around for like, a month and not have any real big singles matches outside of Tiffany. So I'm going to give it to Becky to hold on for a little bit longer.
That's a good point. Well, it should be fun.
It'll be a good show.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess it's that time, huh?
It's that time.
Hey, yo.
It's time to end the show. Let me do the outro. This is my
that's your bread and butter. This is
my bread and butter. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition, the 100th edition of the RAWDOWN. Sheena, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Finally upped our ratings for once. We always love the ratings booth. Tell us what you got going on the Chick Foley show and everything that you guys are doing over there.
So we have our regular show going on. You'll hear myself, Marco, the heel husband, Seth, and Jordan, the fig god. We do our show. We do rap. We're going to do a FASTLANE No Mercy recap, next week. So expect that to come out on like Tuesday, I believe. J-Bone said earlier, the heel husband and Jordan are doing an NFL podcast. It's a little bit different vein than your normal wrestling fodder, but it's a straight NFL podcast. You can find it. It's the Goal Line podcast. It's going to be on the Chick Foley feed, as well as they have their own independent feed as well. And Marco's got some killer episodes, like, no pun intended. We got some Halloween stuff cooked up for you guys.
Yeah,
killer episodes of open mic coming on the Chick Foley feed. So if you're here and you're on the RAWDOWN, the Turnbuckle Tavern, and you've never heard of the Chick Foley show, go over, subscribe, You can find me on Instagram at Chick Foley. Marco here, the lovely MVP Marco Denton, runs the Twitter machine. I'm never going to call it the X machine because that's just lame. He runs
It
the
also
Twitter
kind of sounds
machine.
like a porn or something.
Yeah, the X
does, yeah.
machine for
If you
sure.
go to xmachine.com.
Yeah. So, and then you can find anything you want Chick Foley, as well as all the links to all of our Pod Foundation friends here on the Turnbuckle Tavern at chickfoley.com. So yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was an honor to be the guest on the 100th episode of the RAWDOWN, and congratulations again. As somebody who's been doing podcasting for several years now, I understand what a feat it is, and I think you all should be proud of yourself for getting on here every week and doing a video podcast. Like, we don't even, like, I'm in my pajamas most of the time recording the Chick Foley show. So the fact that you guys actually have to put on pants, or like, I guess you don't, I don't know if you have on pants or not, but you have to at least look good from the waist up, you know, to be on video. Get camera ready every week.
I got some Razor Ramon chocolate shorts. Make sure you use code PF10 to check out and save 10%. And also you know, we went through one whole full episode without doing a Booker T reference. So you got a guy like Sheena.
You got a guy like
Wow.
You got a guy like Sheena.
We talked NXT and didn't even do.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, shuck it, duck it, quack.
You get a guy like. Let me see.
anyways.
I'll go next since we'll
Yes.
just go run the gamut. Like Sheena just mentioned, I am kind of cooking up a Halloween special for open mic. So kind of gathering a panel together so we can talk all things Halloween, horror movies, you know, the actual holiday, all that stuff. Share ghost stories maybe, because I have a few.
Yeah.
I actually do have a few, but yeah, so I'm getting that together. I think this Saturday we'll be dropping another episode. That's what it seems like my schedule will be every Saturday, a open mic. I have like 3 in the can already that need to be released. Kyle Peterson is one.
He's
the loving Kyle Peterson, the guy that has the best hair next to AJ Styles. His hair is phenomenal, just like him. I have the heel Liz. She's on an episode as well. And then Acefield joined me recently. So I'm not sure which one of those is going to drop, but you'll definitely get one on Saturday, and got a couple more lined up. I mean, just I gave Sheena an insight on one of the ones. I want to kind of keep it a secret, but I kind of missed the mark on the Halloween. That's the only update I'll give you, but I think it's gonna be a pretty cool episode. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. J-Bone, what are we doing on Coming Down the Aisle?
Coming down the aisle pod.com. I've got the whole team. I got 4 guests in one this week.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
The Let
Bang,
Me
bang.
Book podcast, the whole crew, man, they're wild. They're fun. We watch War Games actually from 2019, Undisputed Era versus Team Ciampa.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It was a good match, and we got some good talk happening. So that'll be drop on Monday, and then me and the Ultimate Miles, we're gonna be doing a list that will be dropping next week of the top 10 Kurt Angle matches. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. So check out that coming down the aisle pod.com for everything, and we can find all the links. And
what
of
about
course,
you, young Anthony? What do you got? What do you got going on? Besides
he's
school.
He's a New York Jets reporter now.
Yeah,
so.
he's like a
More on that off camera, but no, I mean, I never have anything going on, no podcast from me. But I mean, the Pod Foundation is, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The main source, if you want to get anything, you know, you've got Chick Foley, Extra Cooler, Coming Down the Aisle, and of course the Turnbuckle Tavern. I mean, we provide you so much content. It really goes without saying. Like, we are one of the hardest working podcasting networks you can find. And it's always quality content. No bread, no water, just me. I was smirking during that entire like plug part because I wanted to say it. I remembered the line, but
that's great.
Actually, I will say for my little part of this plugging here is, you know, I haven't been on the last few episodes. A little peek behind the curtain. You know, life is just very busy, you know, with work and school and everything else. And I wanted to make sure that I was on this episode because even though I can't stand J-Bone and Marco, you know, this show is, you know, means a lot. The 100 episodes, it's been a wild, fun, crazy ride. So I wanted to make sure that I got on this episode. But for the foreseeable future, you're probably not going to be seeing me or hearing me on a lot of these episodes, which is, you know, it's annoying to me because, you know, I really do want to be on these episodes. But, you know, Marco, J-Bone, they're going to hold down the fort for a while. I won't be that anchor to really hold them down so they can just flow freely for the time being.
We're going to be canceled in 2 weeks.
I don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully soon. But, you know, I just wanted to say, like, you know, have fun without me, obviously. But, I am really going to miss doing these episodes. It's been a very fun, consistent 100 episodes. And, you know, I'll be back eventually. But I did want to just give my parting goodbye for the semester being. And just say it's been a good ride. It's definitely been a very, very fun ride. But with all of that out of the way, actually, one more thing before we play the music. We're already playing the music. Keep the music playing. I feel like we have to just give one more shout out to Chad in particular, because without him, a lot of what you're seeing right now, and a lot of what you've seen over the last 100 episodes, would not have been possible. Chad and Steve have made every single graphic, every single drop, every single thumbnail, graphic, overlay, you name it. So to them, I really say thank you, because they have really taken this.
And they've entrusted us to take their baby and, you know, use their brand, you know, to, you know, not only promote our stuff, but also to hey, like these guys are some of the guys we want to extend our brand out. So thank you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Just showing up every week on a podcast, making time out of your schedule to sit down and come correct with the correct info. It's a lot of work. So doing all the collateral and all the things that you need to do to all the graphics. Yeah, shout out to the Chads.
Yeah. But with that all out of the way, folks.
Yes.
If you liked what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure that you head on down to the Turnbuckletavern.com. It is the #1 hub for everything that you can find to support the Turnbuckle Tavern. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can watch our videos, see our beautiful faces on YouTube and Twitch. You can follow us on social media. We're on everything, TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. And join our Discord. We have some great like-minded individuals who talk about professional wrestling. You're going to want to connect with them, talk about wrestling, and overall just join the community. Let's talk about ways that you can support the Turnbuckle Tavern with your monetary compensation. The first way is by going over to prowrestlingtees.com/tavern. That way you can buy specific Turnbuckle Tavern t-shirts for everyone here at the tavern. There is a Young Anthony shirt, there's a Boney Schiavone shirt, there's an MVP Marco shirt. I mean, everyone's got a shirt. A lot of references to the RAWDOWN that you've seen over these 100 years. Why don't you support the tavern the best way by wearing our brand on your body? It's the best way possible. And if those shirts weren't good enough for you, well, I've got some good news for you, folks. We've got even more shirts. Do you love our logo? Because I love our logo. Head on down to theturnbuckletavern.com and click on the Teespring link, where you can find the official RAWDOWN logo on stickers and mugs and t-shirts. Do you want to be immortalized with the Mr. Backlash t-shirt? One of the best jokes that we've made here on the RAWDOWN? Well, you can go ahead and do that by paying an undisclosed amount of money to purchase the Mr. Backlash t-shirt. Be the unofficial RAWDOWN champion with the RAWDOWN champion t-shirt. And overall, just support the tavern in any way you can. Teespring is a great way to do that. Woo! That was a lot.
Wow.
Folks.
Wow.
That might be your best plug of all time.
I know. You're definitely going to
be my last one for a while. So
you need to just do a pre-recording of that so Marco and J-Bone can just hit it at the end of the show. And that way, it just goes ahead and plays the ad spot, dude.
Yeah.
Good idea. We'll get on that.
Yes.
But folks, 100 episodes down, 100 episodes to go. Thank you so much for tuning into not only this episode, but all of the RAWDOWN episodes. The future is bright for us, and we will see you on the next one. But until then, as always,
Life sucks, and then you die.